Welcome back to Shifting Veils for the final installment of our month-long October's Dark Harvest special. This is the only podcast where porcelain stares back and cursed trinkets whisper sweet nothings from your grandma's attic. I'm Michelle, part-time lore weaver.
And I'm Isaiah, full-time ghost knight.
And today we're diving headfirst into the uncanny valley where haunted dolls blink when you're not looking and antique artifacts have opinions about your interior design choices. So grab your salt circle, clutch your sage bundle, and for the love of all things unholy, don't make eye contact with that Victorian marionette in the corner. She's been here since 1892, and frankly, she's a little judgy.
A 200-year-old wooden doll that was found in an abandoned New South Wales Australian home became known as the "Letta Me Out" doll after some interesting events. With his large hooked nose, wicked toothy grin, dark glass eyes, and a long ponytail of real human hair, Letta is truly the stuff of nightmares. But for the family who adopted him more than 50 years ago, he's considered a lucky charm. The story goes that Letta was discovered in 1972 when 23-year-old Kerry Walton and his brother were in Wagga for their grandmother's funeral. The pair were scouting for bottles beneath the floor of a supposedly haunted farmhouse when they saw a child-sized body in the crawl space. That would put me off if I saw that. Kerry described his shock during an interview for a TV series in 1994. He said, "I was sort of under the house and with a torch, still a bit frightened about going under there. And I shined the torch on this fella, and I thought it was a little kid," he said. As Kerry and his brother drove home to Brisbane, the fully articulated doll appeared to be wiggling inside the sack they had placed him in, and they joked that he was calling "Letta Me Out." "When we first got him, I was petrified," Kerry recalled.
Okay, wait a second. So, I'll is the letting me out not giving you Mario vibes?
"Letta me out! Get me
every
out
t-
of this bag!"
every time you say letting me out, that's all I can hear in my head. Yeah.
"It's me, Mario! Let me out!"
Oh my gosh. That's
Carrie
kind of
says that
funny.
Carrie, Carrie says the night he got home with the doll, he left him in the lounge room, and halfway through the night, he had to go and put him back in his bag and put him under the house. He was so afraid of it.
Well, he didn't exactly get off on the right foot making fun of it when it wanted out of the bag.
I probably should have let it out of the bag first.
Just let him out.
Over the years, the Waltons have claimed to have seen. Are these the same Waltons that the TV show is made of?
I don't I don't think so.
Over the years, the Waltons have claimed to have seen all kinds of weird and wonderful things surrounding the doll, from terrified reactions from people and animals to unexplained phenomena and even surprising turns of good luck. An antiquities expert dated the nails in the doll's shoes to 18th century Eastern Europe and suggested that it is of gypsy origin. That's dangerous right there.
Yeah.
Various psychics over the years have also claimed that Letta is associated with family tragedy and is inhabited by a spirit.
I've heard a lot of other stories surrounding the origin of this doll. The owner is said to have claimed that it was made by a father for his son who drowned, and the son's spirit is attached to the doll. How he got that knowledge, I have no idea. That I couldn't figure out. He also tells a story of how his dad decided one day he wanted to sell the antique doll and found a woman willing to pay $400 for it. His father needed the money because his pottery business wasn't doing well, so he packed the doll into his car, and it started pouring rain out of nowhere. When he got to the lady's house who wanted to buy it, he tried taking it out of his car, but it wouldn't budge, almost like it was super glued to his seat. So he then decided to keep it. The next day, he suddenly had multiple orders for his business just seemingly out of nowhere. He says that once Letta chooses his owner, they have good luck, but if you part with Letta, you have bad luck and die a horrible death. How he knows that, I don't know either. These are just things that the owner has said.
I don't
Um,
want out.
yeah. Is that on it? It just kind of sounds like the doll wants to belong somewhere
Oh, yeah, it does.
or to somebody,
I mean,
you
if you
know.
think about it, if it is possessed by a child, right, then
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
child does kind of want to just be somewhere.
Right.
That's a child's want and desire. They want to be accepted. They want to be, they want to be loved.
If that is the case, but
Yeah.
still, there's still the question of whose hair is that? You know what would be really interesting is to do like DNA testing on it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. There's the whole superstition. I mean, being native, we have the same thing. My grandmother gets mad at me if I ever went to a hair salon to get my hair cut. She'd be like, "You're not supposed to do that." I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay." And yeah, I did it once where I got my hair cut, and she's like, "Did you get your hair back?" I'm like, "Excuse me."
Yeah. You're supposed to have him sweep it up off the floor, put it in a bag for you.
There was one time when I got it really cut down, and yeah, I was like, I need that bagged up, and that was after my grandmother got after me that one time.
That's funny. I saw a meme the other day. It was like, "Oh, so you don't believe in witchcraft? Really? Well, give me
Mm-hmm.
a strand of your hair."
I saw the same one. Yep.
Yep. Yep. I do wonder where that hair came from on that
That
doll.
that is a curiosity. Where the doll even came from. It says it's
Mhm.
gypsy, so it could have come
That's
from
interesting.
anybody.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
The doll has appeared on talk shows, and people have been allowed to interact with the doll. And apparently, almost everyone that has felt complete dread while being around it. Some have claimed to see it move, and someone started crying uncontrollably just by touching the doll. To this day, Letta is still owned by the same family that found him in the 70s. They don't want to part with it because they worry about the luck and death part being true. Much like when people say played Bloody Mary, and it's like, why, when the other side of it is she will come and kill you.
Right? Mm.
But
Mhm.
recently, Carrie handed the care of Letta over to his granddaughter, Haley, who keeps him around the house and runs his social media. She's, she seems to want to hang on to him because she thinks he is happy being part of the family. She says enjoys his new home. According to her, when he was with her grandfather, he was just in a wardrobe, and he didn't like that. Apparently, she gives the doll his own space. Haley says, "He's perfectly fine with me and my kids. My husband's a little bit iffy of him, especially having him in the house. He was a bit of a skeptic until he started seeing the light turn on by itself and the door randomly open after it's been locked with a key." Despite claims that Letta is possessed by the spirit of a drowned child and possible connections to witchcraft, Haley said the doll responds to the energy visitors bring with them. She doesn't think he's evil, but that you can definitely tell when he doesn't like people. While Letta has attracted plenty of attention over the decades, Haley said she would hate to see him locked away in a museum or private collection. Despite plenty of offers over the years, she said that he will remain with his adopted family and be passed down to her daughter.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Letta.
Let him out.
Have you seen this doll?
I haven't, but it makes me think of the other one with the sailor suit, the sailor outfit.
Yeah, he looks nothing like that. I've seen it.
But the story makes me think of that because
Yeah.
that doll was made with hoodoo for a child.
Yeah, that's true. It was. Yeah, no, this doll, he's carved out of wood and he does have a crooked nose.
That hooked nose.
But that hair, the hair on he has long hair. This doll has very long hair.
Do you have
So
photos? There's photos of it online then, I
there is
assume.
photos of it online. Yeah, I may decide to put some on our website.
I mean, it does have its own social media.
Sure. I wonder if he'll friend me on Facebook.
I wonder if it's got a OF.
Oh God. Wow. Yeah, that'd be something. In the heart of St. Francisville, Louisiana, about a 90-minute drive from where I'm from, and nestled among moss draped oaks and Southern Gothic whispers, stands the Myrtles Plantation, a place so steeped in legend it practically exhales ghost stories. It's so commercialized now, but before that happened, and when I was a child, I went there and toured the property. My first memory of the Myrtles is one of its most haunted relics, one that has earned a reputation darker than the rest, a cursed mirror. When I first walked in the doors, I noticed to my left the mirror hung on the wall. It was the first thing that I saw whenever I came in. Um, there was a small, partial handprint on that mirror, and as a kid, I didn't think much of it. Um, we had a tour guide, and I remember her talking about the mirror some, and I remember her mentioning little kid handprints and things like that. Some of it, some of it I remembered, some of it I thought about it, and some of it I was just a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was, I was probably like 7, 8 ish. The story begins in the 19th century when the plantation was home to Judge Clark Woodruff, his wife Sarah, and their children. According to local lore, tragedy struck when a slave named Chloe, whose tale is tangled in myth and speculation, allegedly poisoned the family. Sarah and 2 of her children died, and in the chaos of mourning, one crucial tradition was forgotten: covering the mirrors.
That's so typical of a Chloe.
In Southern mourning customs, mirrors were veiled to prevent the spirits of the dead from becoming trapped. But one ornate mirror in the house remained uncovered, and that, they say, is where the spirits lingered. Visitors and staff have reported seeing ghostly figures, believed to be Sarah and her children, reflected in the glass. Handprints appear mysteriously on its surface, even after thorough cleaning. Some claim to hear faint whispers or crying when standing near it. Others feel sudden chills, as if the air around the mirror dips into another realm entirely. Skeptics chalk it up to optical illusions or the power of suggestion, but the mirror remains, untouched by time and unnervingly persistent. It's been featured in paranormal documentaries, investigated by ghost hunters, and revered by thrill seekers who swear they've seen something move just behind their own reflection. Whether myth or memory, the cursed mirror of Myrtle's plantation is more than just glass. It's a portal to grief, legend, and the lingering echoes of lives unfinished. That is not the only thing about Myrtle's plantation that I remember. That place, before we went to it, I remember dreaming about this place that I had never seen before. And after I had walked in and noticed the mirror and heard the woman talking about handprints that they clean off but they come back, I was looking around while she was talking. And the next thing I saw was like the staircase. And it is a staircase that I dreamed before ever going. This dream, I have had it my entire life. Like I had it before we went to the plantation, and I've had it ever since. I mean, and that's a lot of years. But whenever I dreamed it, I saw a man like busting down the stairs towards me, and it frightened me in the dream. But when you go into this place, whenever you go upstairs, the bedrooms are up there. And I remember them showing us the room that belonged to the girls. And they had like this red velvet rope. It was roped off so people couldn't go in the room, but you could stand at the doorway and look. And there were a couple of girls jumping up and down on the bed. And I remember asking my mom, why are they in there? Because we weren't supposed to go in there. And she just seemed clueless. She didn't know what I was talking about. So I've just always been under the impression that I saw maybe the 2 girls that supposedly Chloe poisoned,
Mm-hmm.
um, because no one else seemed to be aware of these 2 kids breaking the rules except for me.
Right. And you were a kid, so you're probably more likely to see them anyways if they are that. It is that case.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a neat place. It's the grounds are neat. It's really neat outside. It's really beautiful inside. It's just kind of sad because it has been so commercialized. It was known as like one of the most haunted places and people have flocked to it and they've totally turned it into, you know, a money pit. Like they just yeah. It's kind of
Is it worth? Is it episode? Is it like a full episode worth? Do you think?
um it could be. I would probably cover other plantations within that one cuz
Yeah.
there are several plantations down there.
Hmm.
That aren't as commercialized. Yes, they still have tours. Yes, people still go to them. It's like an entire row. Like you can drive down this one road or highway or whatever and just hit them one after the other. And some of them have some really interesting stories. They're not all built at the same time. They didn't all have the same type of people living in them, doing, farming the same thing or living the same way. There's some down there that, like really, really far south and St. Francisville is pretty far south, but there's some way down there that each room of the house has its own external door. Like you can't just walk in to a door and walk through the entire house. And they built them that way because the people indigenous to that area um, would they didn't like these people.
They were manifesting destiny.
Yeah, they didn't like these people and so they built these houses this way so they couldn't go in and just massacre the whole family.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So it was like, they had to go in one room at a time and everyone else became aware of what was happening before it happened to them and were able to get away sometimes. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's probably worth episodes. It's worth people going and visiting them. You get a
Hmm.
history lesson with it if you like that sort of thing. It's not necessarily just about hauntings and things like that. There's a lot to learn from all of that stuff, and it's kind of neat. Um,
Well, before we move on, I'm curious. Did you do this mirror one because I had issues with mirrors I told you about?
no, I actually have no recollection of that. I did this one because we're talking about cursed and haunted artifacts, and I I remember that mirror. I experienced that mirror. So,
Hmm.
and anytime I get a chance to talk about home,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
talk
No,
about
that.
back home,
Yeah. No, that's good. That's cool. Yeah. I was
So,
just curious because I do remember talking to you about having issues with mirrors when I was a bit younger.
yeah, I have issue with mirrors.
There's there's a lot of portal issues with that stuff. So
I
uh,
have my closet doors are mirrors. So,
yeah, you have something hanging in front of them, don't you? Covered up.
not right now, I don't.
Okay.
I did at one point.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it creeped me out a little bit more than having it uncovered.
Well, sure. What if you see something poking in them through the curtain?
You don't really need to say things like that. I have to live with this. I'm gonna get contact paper and just go over them
There you go.
with contact paper.
Then you can know for sure when it's pressing through.
Oh God, Jesus. Uh-uh.
Our final cursed artifact isn't tucked away in a dusty attic or staring blankly from behind glass. In fact, it's not an object at all. No porcelain smile, no antique shimmer, just a string of digits. A phone number, but this one doesn't connect you to a friend or a pizza place. It connects you to death.
Is it 8675309?
Not when you say it like that.
Oh, was I supposed to sing it?
Yeah. 8675309.
No, I can't
Anyway.
do that. I don't get paid for this.
Neither do I, and yet I'm still ghost bait, so
Yeah.
I'm still the shitty guy sitting in the corner waiting for his job.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, a string of deaths in Bulgaria became linked not to a haunted house of cursed artifacts, but to a mobile phone number: 359 888 888 888. Every person who owned it met a violent end. The first to hold the number was Vladimir Grashnov, CEO of Mobitel, the very company that issued it. In 2001, Grashnov died of cancer at just 48. Whispers swirled that his illness wasn't natural. Some claimed he'd been poisoned by a business rival using radioactive materials.
Hmm.
Next came Konstantin
Dimitrov?
Dimitrov,
Maybe.
a Bulgarian mafia boss with a drug empire worth over 500 million euros, or pounds. That's pounds. In 2003, while dining with a model in the Netherlands, Dimitrov, you had to use his last name, Konstantin was assassinated. The cursed number was reportedly in his pocket when he died. Then came Konstantin Dishlyev. Dishlyev? Dishlev?
Sleep.
Dishlev? I am so sorry, everybody. A businessman and estate agent with alleged ties to cocaine trafficking. In 2005, he was gunned down outside an Indian restaurant in Sofia, just as he took possession of the number. 3 owners, 3 deaths, all violent, all tied to the same string of 8s. After Dishlev's murder, Mobitel suspended the number. Now, if you try to call it, you'll hear the message, Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery. How can I freak you out today? Just kidding. You'll hear outside network coverage. The company refuses to comment on the number, and it remains permanently deactivated.
And that, dear listeners, brings us to the end of tonight's descent into the uncanny. We've tiptoed through creaking floorboards of a haunted Australian house to meet Let Me Out, a 200-year-old doll with human hair, a wicked grin, and a habit of moving when no one's watching. We've stared into the depths of the Myrtle's plantation mirror, where mourning customs were broken and spirits refused to let go. And we've dialed into the digital abyss with Bulgaria's most infamous phone number, where every call seemed to come with a death sentence. 3 cursed entities, one doll, one mirror, one number. None of them play by the rules of reality. Whether it's the psychic residue of grief, the echo of forgotten rituals, or the strange magnetism of symmetrical digits, these stories remind us that the veil between worlds isn't always torn. It's sometimes stitched into the everyday, into the things we touch, the reflections we trust, and the numbers we dial. So next time you hear a faint whisper from the attic, see a handprint on the glass, or get a call from an unknown number, maybe just don't answer. Until next time, keep your mirrors covered, your dolls locked up, and your phone on airplane mode. This has been Shifting Veils, where the haunted are heard.
Let me out.